I'm just briefly going to show you some of the marketing decisions that you can make in BSG Online. The very first thing you have to consider is what is your overall strategy, your generic competitive strategy. You'll remember we talked about Michael Porter and how he developed a model. You are either going for a cost strategy, low cost, or you're going to differentiate your company. And then you're going to decide whether or not you go for the big broad market or you go for a narrow market. So in the athletic footwear industry, companies like Nike and Adidas, they're after the broad category. Perhaps some special designer brands are going after a specialty differentiation category. And for cost leadership, it's probably some of the companies that are supplying Walmart and Costco and companies like that that have gone for low cost production. So you make your decision about what your strategy is. I'm going to, for the purposes of this, suggest that I'm going to be a differentiation focused company, which means I'm going to be different. I'm going to differentiate myself from the others in the market, but I'm going to, as a result, be a smaller company. So I'm going to be focused. So what would that look like in making marketing decisions? Well, when I come up here, I see $48 is the average price in the market. Well, I'm definitely going to charge more than that. So why don't I go for $58? And what you'll see is it's going to make a difference. It shows up here. It's going to make a difference in my internet market. So I'll come over here later and make an adjustment there. I'm going to have to raise my prices there if I continue to sell on the internet. My advertising, because my volume is going to reduce quite a bit, go down to 6% market share, I may not be able to spend as much on advertising. And so I adjust that now. Now let's say I take my advertising down to 7,500. People who buy really expensive shoes, are they really that interested in mail-in rebates? I'm going to say no, so I'm going to reduce that. Delivery time, though, this is something I might want to focus on. Really fantastic service for my retailers and retailer support for them to cover me. I'm going to have to pay money to each retailer. Now, I'm going to have a smaller number of lines that I offer, so I think I'll keep it around the same level. I'll pay just as much in retailer support as, no, I'm going to take it down a little bit. We'll pay a little bit less in retailer support than the others. Now, what I would do is, in all of these other regions of the world, I would make similar kinds of changes to go with a high price, a little less advertising, maybe no mail-in rebate, quick delivery, and a little less in retailer support. That's now differentiating me in terms of a higher price product. But I'm going to have to look at some other things in terms of my style and so on. So anytime I make a major change like that, I save the decisions. As I mentioned, I would have to go to the internet because what's happened is my footwear sales are now, my footwear prices are too low on the internet. There'll be no incentive for retailers to carry me. So I'm going to raise that price up to about $75. Oh, still not high enough. $77. Oops. I want to get up to 40% in excess, and so we'll take it to $80. 81. Okay, so now I'm satisfying the retailers aren't angry at me. How much search engine advertising do I do? To people who buy wealthy shoes, they spend a lot of time on the internet. I'm going to guess that they don't spend as much time, so I'm going to cut that in half. But I am going to give them free shipping. Now, private label operations, this refers to when you're going to sell excess capacity to places like Walmart. And I don't expect that that's going to happen. I'm going for a high-end shoe. It's going to be expensive to manufacture, so that's not something I'm going after. But I am probably going to go after celebrity endorsements. And I want to have the high-end celebrities. So for my purposes, and I'll just do this with a couple, we don't really have a benchmark at this point on how much it's going to cost me for a celebrity. And so I'm going to, and you'll notice it's hundreds of thousands per year. I'm going to offer 500,000 for that one, and we'll say $1.5 million for that celebrity, and we'll offer 1 million for this celebrity, and $800,000 for this celebrity. So I actually, in this case, would probably bid on all celebrities because I think they can be powerful for me. And I can now decide which are my most important ones, which are the ones I'd most like to have. Well, I guess I'd like to have that one most because it's so inexpensive. And I'd like to have that second and that one third. But if I can't get them, I'm still willing to have this. Over here on spending cap, I may not want to break the bank in terms of how much I spend on celebrities in a year, so I can't afford to have all of them. So maybe I want to put a limit in at around $2,500, $2,500,000. And now I can only spend up to that amount. So if I were to win them all, it would drop off, in this case, the most expensive one, the Kimmy Jimmel one. So those are some of my major marketing decisions that I've made. We do have to think about things like corporate citizenship, though, because, again, I'm differentiating myself in the market as a high-end shoe. So it might be that I want to show that I'm a really good corporate citizen. And so I use recycled containers. You'll notice what it tells us is how much all of this is going to cost. So I'm just going to save that for a moment. So it's been saved. I'm going to use recycled boxes. I'm going to have some energy efficiency initiatives. Those energy efficiency initiatives are going to cost me 12 cents per shoe. I may make charitable donations. I may offer ethics training so that I can say what a wonderful employer I am. That's going to cost another 5 cents a shoe for me to make. Maybe I'm going to have childcare facilities. Well, that's going to be very expensive if I bring that in. So in my first year, I might not offer that, but perhaps later. I want to make sure, though, that my employees have good working conditions, improved lighting and ventilation, and perhaps a supplier code of conduct. So I'm now up to $1.23 per shoe. It's really increased the cost of my shoes, but I'm going to become known as a really good corporate citizen as a company. So those are many of the marketing decisions that I have to make. In a separate video, I'm going to show you how I would then make the decisions related to production that go along with that strategy. And remember, I did it for a strategy of focus, differentiation, being a high price, high quality shoe perhaps. That is not the strategy that you have to follow. I'm just showing you the process.